Vice President of The Hill, John Solomon. John, I have your article, literally just printed it out. It's hot off the presses. 10 declassified Russia collusion revelations that could rock Washington this fall. My sources told me it will shock the conscience of a nation. Let's go over them one by one.
Absolutely. I think the first one is a form called the 1032. We don't talk about it. It's an FBI form, but it's the official documentation of what the FBI and Christopher Steele exchanged with each other. We've always focused on what did Christopher Steele give the FBI, but I'm told that these documents show the FBI may have given Christopher Steele sensitive information in briefing him on the investigation, maybe even disclose the existence of the Crossfire Hurricane operation, which could potentially have gotten back to his ultimate employer, Hillary Clinton, and the Democratic National Committee. Raises some real concerns about the control of information that the FBI had when working with Steele.
All right, we're putting him up on the screen. Christopher Steele's confidential human source reports on the FBI, the 53 House Intel interviews, the Stefan Halper documents, the October 2016 FBI email chain, Page, Papadopoulos, exculpatory statements. How did they withhold exculpatory statements and then end up going after, in the case of Papadopoulos, put this guy in jail when they had information that he said it was, as I understand it, that he would consider it being a traitor if he ever colluded with Russia. The Gang of Eight, we talked about that at length. The Steele spreadsheet, which proves when they finally started looking at the Steele dossier, what did they find, John?
They found that 90% or more of it could not be verified, was wrong, or was simply internet garbage, hearsay from the internet. It really indicates that the Steele dossier was a bad product.
When did they discover that 90% of this was garbage?
They began in October, November vetting it, and by April they abandoned vetting it because there was nothing to really vet. It was really that bad a product.
We had the October initial FISA warrant, based on the phony Clinton bought and paid for dossier. It says verified, but they didn't investigate it, and they found out when they did investigate it that they couldn't verify it, and that was how many months later?
Yeah, it was 6-7 months later. And here's a really important point. Some of the testimony that the House members got, both in the House Intelligence Committee and in those Judiciary Committee hearings that Jim Jordan and Meadows did last year, people were talking about the process of vetting the Steele dossier had begun after or simultaneous to them already going to the court. The cart and the horse were backwards. The FBI hadn't vetted what it was already representing to the court as verified. Very troubling, and I think it's the sort of stuff we're going to learn a lot about in the IG report and in the Barr and Durham investigations that are forthcoming.
The Steele interview, what are we going to learn from that? We already know in an interrogatory that he said, I don't know if any of this is true, but it was used as the basis for 4 FISA warrants.
Yeah, he was very careful to say it was unverified and 50-50 chance that it might be true or not, which isn't very good intelligence. We may learn what he told the FBI. Listen, he was telling the State Department when he was with Kathleen Kavalak, listen, I'm leaking to the media. I'm desperate to get Trump not elected president. I got a political deadline of Election Day to get my information leaked out. I'm talking to the media. He's divulging all this stuff, all the sort of things the FBI has claimed, at least anonymously in news stories they didn't know about. I would like to know what Christopher Steele said he told his handlers before his dossier was used to support the FISA.
Last two, the redacted sections. This is the third renewal. The third renewal application, there are redacted sections. And number 10, the records of allies' assistance. That would be, if I'm wrong, tell me, the outsourcing of that which would otherwise be illegal, of spying on a campaign Donald Trump, on a transition Donald Trump, on a president Donald Trump, feed it off and subcontract it out to our allies, Italy, Great Britain, and Australia, because they were circumventing American laws on the one hand, but also we have, what are the redacted sections of the final warrant?
Yeah, listen, in the final warrant, there's a strong possibility that information was misidentified or misleading, intentionally misleading to the court. May have been represented as new information that was actually very old, and there may have been serious exclusions about those exculpatory statements that were not mentioned in that fourth and final FISA warrant. That's the one Rod Rosenstein signed, and I think we should keep an eye on that one. That's the one Devin Nunes has really driven hard for disclosure. There's a reason why he wants that public.
The fact is it was unverifiable verifiable information from the get-go, and they all swore.
Correct.
So that would be premeditated fraud on a FISA court, because also there were multiple warnings before the initial filing of the first application. John Solomon, what's the likelihood that all 10 of those things are going to be pretty blockbuster?
I think all 10 are going to be blockbuster. Whether they all get released, I don't know. What I'm certain of is that these have been essential documents to the ongoing investigations. IG, Durham, Barr, some congressional inquiries that continue on. And everybody who has seen them says they will change everything you know about the Russia case.
All right, great investigative work. Investigative reporter John Solomon. So in 2016, at the very height of a presidential election, you have multiple Trump campaign officials spied on by our own government or other governments that were spying for our own intelligence people so they could circumvent the laws against spying against Americans. Then we have premeditated FISA fraud to spy on Americans and the opposition party candidate. That would be Donald Trump. Everything Trump transition, everything Donald Trump is president. And we have an ex-spy, foreign spy, all funded by Hillary Clinton, receiving unfettered access to the Justice Department, the State Department, even paid by the FBI at one point to spread his anti-Trump Russian lies, misinformation, propaganda against Donald Trump.